In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. This week we are going to continue our discussion on consonants, and we are going to finish the discussion on consonants today. Okay? Let us go to page 196. Page 196. Okay. If you actually go to this page, you know that we finished the discussion for the stops on page 195. Okay. And we continued with fricatives on. Okay. Now we are going to continue with other things. Today we are going to continue with, Affricates. Okay, what are Affricates? Affricates are a combination of one stop and one fricative. What is it? A stop is like what? We close the mouth. Okay, fricative is like it's open a bit. Okay, so if we combine, we can have two English affricates. One is ch, one is ch, which is voiceless, and the other is j, which is voiced. So ch and j are affricates. What does it mean? First we have a fricate, a stop sound like a t sound. Next, we have a sh sound in it. Two things at the same time, okay? And the other one is ch, j, okay? Again, a combination of a t sound and a j sound. What does it mean? You know, in Arabic, in Fusha, they say the country Teshad. Why? In English, it is Chad, Chad. Why do they call it Teshad? It's because it is a combination of a T followed by a Sh sound. So it is called, in English, it is called Chad. And you Iraqis are able to produce Ch sound, okay? So it's like that. The second one is a J sound. Fortunately, both in Fusha and in Iraqi, we have the J sound, okay? So you see two sounds at the same time. A D sound followed by a J sound found in Lebanese Arabic, okay? Like you remember, Jayed, Jahad, etc. Okay, so affricates are like this. What are they? A combination of a stop at first and a fricative next. That's it. Finished. Easy. Examples in English like church and judge. Let us see. Yes. The example, the beginning of the word church and the end of the word church is a affricate. And the second one is again another one. Let us see. It is judge. The beginning of the word judge has got a j in it, and the last part it has got a j. Judge. Okay, easy for you. Next, we say we have the class of liquid sounds. What are liquid sounds? L and r, both found in Arabic. L and r, both in Arabic. They are called liquid. Why? Because the mouth is opener. The mouth is opener than stops and fricatives and affricates. Open than stops, which are closed, totally closed. Fricatives a little bit open, okay, and affricates closed at the first, open at the next. Liquids are wider, okay, so the mouth is wider and the air goes out easily to produce l sound and r sounds, okay. What is the difference? For le, we have the tongue like this, goes up, and the two sides are open. You see the right side and the left side are open, okay? And the air goes out like that. For re, it is the front part which is open, and the air goes out. These are liquids. Well, very good. Let us go to glides. What are glides? Glides are wa sound like wa, wa, like wali, like wali. Okay? Wa. Easy, so easy for Iraqis to produce the wa sound because you have it. You have it. But it is very difficult for Farsi speakers to say wa. Why? Because in Farsi we do not have wa sound. Instead, all W sounds in Farsi are produced like v sound, like v. Okay? So you say television, we say television, you say telfaz, f. Okay, or television, okay, television, which is actually television. Well, and the first one is a yeah. Remember, when we want to write for the phonetics of yeah, we don't write it with y, we write it with j. So in phonetics, we write j and say yeah, like yaum, yaum. Okay, yaum, easy for Arab speakers to talk about it. Okay, so this is like that, and let's go to the next page. I suppose it is page 197 exactly, and there are approximants. We are not going to talk about approximants. We are not going to talk about trills. Of course, I talk about trills and approximants and flaps, etc., but not here. And clicks are for some exotic languages. You don't need them. Okay, so this is the end of the definition, classification of consonants. Okay, let us go to the next page. If we go to the next page, everything is given here for the consonants of English. Okay, if you actually go to table 5.4, you can find all the sounds here. Okay, like this. Bilabials below it. Next we have labiodentals. Next we have interdentals. Next we have alveolars. Next we have palatals. Next we have velars. Next we have glottals. Okay, so these are the places in our mouth, the places in our, in fact, vocal tract to produce the sounds. So like this, you go from the left to the right. The left one is the left, and a little bit, you go down to the end of the mouth. Okay, so we have bilabials first, next labiodentals, next in the mouth we have interdentals, etc., up to the end. These are the places of articulation. Where in the mouth? Okay, now we have this line. Stop. It stops, nasals, fricatives, affricates, glides, and liquids. What is this? These are manners of articulation. It means how the sounds are produced. So they are stops, nasals, fricatives, affricates, glides, and liquids. Finished. Now all English consonants are below it. So for bilabials, we have p, b, and m, and w, and hue. The first one is hue. The second one is w. Don't in fact confuse this one with that one. We just don't talk about the first one. Upside down W, forget about it. If you have questions, just come to me and ask me. We don't talk about this one. But the second one below it is W. W is where, and it is easy. So it is so good. Now labiodentals. Labiodentals, remember, labiodentals are f and v, which are affricatives. Okay? Fricatives, which are labiodentals. English has got two labiodentals. Now let's go to the next one. Well, interdentals. Well, interdentals again are fricatives. Let's see, fricatives. Okay? Now they are like this. After that, we have alveolars. How many? Do you remember? Behind the upper teeth, we say t, d, n, sh, z in English. Okay? 10 are stops. Next, n is nasal. Look at here. Nasal. Next, we have sens, which are alveolar fricatives. Okay? Now, next we have alveolar liquids, which are re and le. We continue down to the end of the mouth. So we have sh and je here, and ch and j and ye. These are all palatals. Where? With the roof of the mouth. Okay? Next we have velar. K, g, and remember, you didn't have the last one as good examples. When I listened to your sounds, I found that you had problems with this last one. Many of you had problems with the last one. K and g and nge. You do not have problems with the first one as K. You can have it in Fusha, you can have it in Arabic, in Iraqi. The second one, the third one is Ng. Well, there is no G in it. There is no G in it. The Ng, like this. Well, which are, and the last one, W, okay, which is where, okay? These three are velar fricatives. And the last one is the glottal, which are, well, glottal stops and glottal fricatives. The first one is glottal stop. The second one below it here is the global fricative. Let us see where glottal stops and glottal fricatives, as you see. Okay. So it is something like this. Remember, one more thing here. Remember, there are two sounds in many boxes here, many places here. When there are two sounds, the upper one is voiceless, the lower one is voiced. So let us see. Okay? When we have two, the upper one is voiceless, the lower one is voiced. Let's see, voiceless and voiced. And this continues everywhere in the table, okay? So this is again the same thing here. Say is voiceless, ze is voiced. Let's see. Let us see here. The first one is voiceless, the second voiced, etc. What is the difference between th and the here? The first one is voiceless, the second one is voiced. Okay? Let us see. When you go to this part, you see the first one is voiceless, the second one is voiced. Okay? Etc. All places here is like this. Okay? All are like this. Except for the ones that we have one. If there is one, you have to see which one it is. For example, nasals are all one, not two, which are voiced all the time. It is written. Okay? So, if you want to know how many consonants do we have in English, you have to go to table 5.4, some phonetic symbols for American English consonants. Okay? Below it, there is table 5.5. The table 5.5 is piece of cake. It is easy piece of cake. That's a piece of cake. What does it mean? It means that it is easy. Okay? It is easy. In English, when they say it is piece of cake, it means that it is so easy. Okay? Well, what is the difference between table 5.4 and 5.5? The difference here is that we have the same thing there, but the examples are on table 5.5. Okay, so we have, let's see, for table 5.4 we have pen, b. Now here are the examples: pie and buy. There we have me. Okay, now there's a very easy example for you: my. Okay, etc., etc. Okay, you can have something like this. So now we have some phonetic symbols for American English consonants. Now let us go to a chart that I gave you a couple of days ago, last week or so. Then you said what that one was. Well, let us go to my this page. If you actually compare the English consonants there and the international phonetic alphabet here, you can see that we have, this is for all languages like Farsi, etc., like English. The first one is the same as that one we had as table 5.4 and 5.5. Here it is for all languages. So if you compare that one with this one, you see that in this one we have sounds for all languages, like Iraqi, like Fusha, like Farsi, like English, like all languages. Okay, this is like that. So if you actually look at this table, you can see similarities between the charts here and the chart that we had in English. Okay, so the first chart is important for you. Okay, like this one on top. Okay, revised to 2020. Okay, thank you very much. I want to stop here, and this is the end of the discussion on consonants. Thank you very much.